So good afternoon, good morning. It's good evening to somewhere. And definitely good morning to you, Damon. So how are we feeling this morning?
I'm awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Today, I mean, you're catching me. It's 6 o'clock here. I wake up about 4 o'clock in the morning. I've already had an hour and a half of reading and a little bit of working out already. So
Awesome. I say a man who's trying to win my heart over, but obviously it's all about health and well-being. But I think that's easily done. You just have to have the right attitude, the right mindset.
Well, I'm just trying to keep my heart beating longer. That's the only thing I'm trying to do.
So that's what we're doing. So obviously those guys who are listening in, obviously please feel welcome to throw your comments in. Obviously I'm here with the fabulous Damon, and he's about to tell us about not just about his health and his well-being, but about the amazing work he does and how he puts these 4:30 get-ups with his right morning routine that brightens up his day, and how that helps him deliver an amazing day. So I think the best place to start is obviously after now we've done the 4:30. So what does your day normally entail? What do you do? Who is Damon?
What do I do? Well, like I said, I'm up early. I don't know why, because I never used to be. I mean, when I was working a job, I would get up early enough to make it and everything and do it. And I thought I worked pretty hard, but in the last 5 or so years, 6 years, I really started to get up earlier and earlier, because what I found is that it allowed me really to get a leg up on the day. And I started doing it just because I honestly would be ahead of everyone else before I got up. And that was always nice, because then in the afternoon, when my body naturally slows down at about 2 o'clock a little bit, there's the lag in it. And I was always, I could cruise through that, which I liked, and did that. But my day starts early. It's about 4 o'clock. If I sleep past 4 o'clock in the morning, it's kind of crazy. I do go to bed fairly early, but and then I get up and I do I do some meditation, affirmations, visualization, and then I do some exercise. And the exercise and the combination of the things really gets me going for the day, because my mind is ready. And having my mind ready, I think, has been one of the things that I've never really done in my life, that I really think has helped me the most in the past year or so. And just reading a lot and trying to develop myself personally to be able to be, because I figure if I can be the person out there that's way past where I am today, the rest of me will catch up. If I can get my mind there, the rest of me will catch up. So that's my morning until now.
And of course, that, like you said, the morning set you up. So you're now ready for the day, ready for me to tackle you at 6, because it is 6 a.m. there, isn't it?
Yeah. It's 6 a.m.
And the fact is, it's like, yeah, it's fine. It's a nice day. It's fine. And I'm there going, I get up at 6. And everyone thinks I'm early getting up.
Yeah. It's just a mindset. It's a mindset, because once you get used to it, I still, sometimes I'll stay up late. I'll stay up till midnight sometimes. And if you condition your mind, 4 hours is not much sleep, but a couple nights of 5 hours of sleep, and that's okay. But then I'll catch up and do those kind of things later. But it's you really have to commit to being the person you really want to be, and mind, body, the whole thing. And because to be successful professionally, I think that, and personally, really, because I'm married, and honestly, in my past, I've sucked at being a good husband, and because I've always worked too much, right? And now I'm trying to really be the entire package, be better family, be better in my professional life, all. And I used to think there was a trade-off. You look at me in the 90s and the early 2000s, when I was running companies, I honestly thought that, CEOs just got divorced. That's just kind of what happened. Because it did all around me. I mean, it just happened. And it's not because they were, out drinking crowds and whatever that was. It was just because of the work that it required to do the things that we did. And it's conditioned with that. And then I realized that's bullshit. It's just, you gotta put the effort into being better at being better yourself to be better for everyone around you.
So obviously that change has made a massive impact in your life, because it's not just doing the things, it's the awareness. So that the fact going, actually, I wasn't the most perfect husband. There were things I could do better.
Oh yeah. I sucked at it for a while.
There's honesty right there.
Yeah, I did. I sucked at it. I mean, and even now I have to, not that I don't suck as bad, but I do have to remind myself, and I remind my wife too, and my kids, it's like, this is why I worked this hard. I worked this hard for us to create a better life for us, and for me to be a better person in that life. And it drives me pretty hard.
And we all talk about sacrifices, but as you said, the CEO will go, I'll sacrifice my personal life just for my profession, and hit, I'm sure you've seen it, that burnout point, that burnout feeling of exhaustion, of just trying to do everything and feeling the pressure of the role and the work. And actually what you're doing now is going, actually, I've learned my lessons from that. I've still got an amazing wife, I've got an amazing family, and I've got an opportunity. I haven't had everything crumble around. I haven't lost everything. You've got an amazing life now. Really,
well, it's like any other, right? Really. I mean, we all have. Nobody should bullshit anybody. Everybody's got challenges. Pick the most famous person you want to do. They've all got challenges. It just might be different. But you know what? And what I stopped doing is I stopped comparing myself to anyone else, first of all, and then I stopped worrying about what I had and all the materialistic things. And I said, okay, let's start from what I want my life to look like, and what I want my professional life to look like, and then get my mind out there, like I said, to be able to do that. And that change is just, I mean, I'm so much calmer from it, and I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
So it's fun. It's fun. Well, I like being me.
A quick hello. We got Candy and PJG are listening in, as well as a couple of others. So hello, guys. But you've just obviously hit the nail on the head, because life is not, like, although you can say, oh, you've got the perfect life because you have got everything. You've said it as well. You work at it. You take the challenges, you have the arguments, but you go, actually, this is worth that effort, or, being told I'm an idiot one day, or, the challenge it is. And of course, that comes from looking after your fitness and your health and being in a good place within yourself. So with your morning routine, what does that normally entail that really sort of spikes up your day?
Well, I think what I didn't, so years ago, I read about law of attraction and different things like this. And for whatever reason, my mind wasn't ready for the effect that a positive mental attitude and affirmations, visualization. And I know it's, for some people, you're going to hear this and you go, that's woo woo, and whatever you want to call it. Right. And the combination of certain things, because if someone had told me a year ago that I was going to be able to meditate for, 15 minutes and really not think about much for 15 minutes, just let my mind at ease, I would say you're crazy. I was never able to do that. But when you look at it and you combine some things that really get you centered, and then fill you up with good positive energy right away in the morning, not at night, because you're going to get tired, you're not going to want to do it. But like you said, right away in the morning, fill your mind up with positive energy, affirmations of I am good enough, I am strong enough, I am intelligent enough, I've got everything I need. We all have the same amount of opportunity in front of us. For some, it may be harder to get than others, and there's challenges, but we all have that. And when we fill ourselves up like this, I read something the other day. Someone said, think of yourself as a pop can, like a soda pop can, aluminum can. if you get up in the morning and you just get up and go on about your day, you're like an empty can, and it can just, an empty soda can, you can just crush it. Just with very little pressure. But if you fill that can up, fill your body up with good in your mind and your body, now that can is full. Try to crush a full soda can. And how hard is that? And that analogy really is kind of how I feel now, because I feel it in my heart. I feel it in my body, because I don't work out a lot in the morning. I spend about 20 minutes. It's a little bit of strength training, a little bit of cardio on a recumbent bike. Boom. I don't even hardly work up a sweat. But over the course of several months, that really begins to do things. And yeah, it just a little bit every day. And you start to do it. It makes up it makes such a difference over time.
So yeah. Of course, we've been in this, I say it has been 12 months now. We've been I know. In this unusual situation.
Yeah.
How is that? Because obviously you've said, I used to run businesses, and it made me realize that, things weren't balanced. I wanted something better. How has this last 12 months affected your fitness levels?
Well, it was funny, because before COVID hit, my wife and I had changed our eating habits a lot. And we had both lost a significant amount of weight. And I think now I'm like about 45 pounds, something like that. And we had started losing weight, and we were doing that. So it was easier for me to be more active. Right. And it started off with, last summer, it was a flurry of activity around our home. I mean, big outdoor landscaping projects and blah, 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 just doing that kind of stuff. So I was able to do more of those kind of things that I really enjoy, and have fun doing that. And then in the fall, I started to do more of like I said, my morning routine, because I didn't start that until about 4 or 5 months ago, something like that. And then that really made me feel a lot better. So about a few weeks ago, I actually started marathon training. I'm going to run a marathon, hopefully before the end of this year, but maybe in the beginning of 2022. But yeah, my activity has gone up a lot. My physical activity is out. And it's funny, because I used to worry about my resting heart rate, because it would be like 85, 90. And I just took it this morning, and it was 60. It's like, it's getting back down there. So I'm pretty happy about that.
But that also shows the steps you take. It's a case of, obviously people listening will be like, how do you go to, you talk about the mindset and the commitment that it takes, and, obviously the focus that you do. But you've obviously just highlighted there, it was actually you got the right mindset, but you didn't just jump in to go, actually, I'm going to get up at 4 o'clock every single day, and I'm going to do all of this. You were like, actually, I'm going to be more active. This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And you've built yourself, and then you were like, actually, this works really well for me. I want to do more. This is how it's going to fit best for me and my life that I want.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's not just jumping in and doing it. I mean, the whole thing, like you said, from getting up early for me, it really started, I was reading more. And then as I read more, I learned more. And as I learned more, I was like, okay, now I need to change what I'm doing. And as I got, the reading taught me what I should do in my morning routine. Then the exercise started taking over more as I got more active. And I realized that I'd been thinking about running a marathon since I was in my 30s. And I put it off every time. It's like, oh, blah, blah. But now my mind's, I've done this progression over the last year plus that's really allowed me to give it a try, because as most people that do that kind of thing, this is a lot mental. I mean, I don't like to run anymore. Look at me. I'm gray. It hurts to run. It hurts to run. Don't give me a break. I'm, like I said before we got on, I'm working on a program that says 6 months or from the couch to a marathon. I'm working up to get to the first starting point of the 6 months to the couch to the marathon. But, and I see how much that is just mindset.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's fun because it's in your mind, man. And you know this because you've done this. You've done intense workout training for a lot of years. When you're doing it, if you just got, and I think back and I go, the mindset work that I've been doing gives me the right mindset to keep pushing, to keep thinking about the positive, to keep thinking about how, I half the time when I'm out there running, I feel like, hey, I'm just stopping. This is just BS. I'm, F this, I'm done. And I'm just like, nope, you know what? I'm just fortunate to be able to be out here running and doing this. I'm so fortunate. Well, I'm lucky too, because I literally have right outside of my house, it's about a mile of just forest that I run through as the start of my run. And it's so beautiful. And I look at, this time of the year, the leaves are starting to come back out again. Because last year when COVID hit, I started walking out here, and the transformation of a forest from winter to spring to summer and back to fall is so beautiful. And to be able to run through and see it and smell it, it's just awesome.
Yeah, it does sound picturesque. Lisanne just said it seemed to pop up when she needs a reminder. So obviously, Lisanne, put yourself first. There's morning routines. You and I have already had the conversations about getting up early. Damon is a prime example. And of course, Paul is also supported. He spends the first 15 minutes of it building his mind up. And obviously, what Paul's obviously highlighting here is how he spends that connecting with others. But of course, what you've sort of done, obviously, please correct me if I'm wrong, is putting yourself in those 15 minutes or that time frame so that you are better, because then when you approach people after that, you've got this full cup, as you say. I love that.
Yeah. Awesome way to say it. And you highlight something that I don't know if you know him, but Danny Shannon, he's in Australia, but just so inspirational. And I forget, he and I were talking about it one time, and that's full cup. Yeah, my cup is full. My cup is full. It's ready to give other people my energy, give my enthusiasm for the day, so that anything I do, I'm going to do it with 100%, And it is fun then. It's fun helping people. I know people think I'm crazy because, I've got, what have I got? 3 interviews scheduled today or something like that. But I love being positive and giving this to people. And I'm not that kind of coach, right? I help people run their businesses better. Mm-hmm. So inside a business, I help people, have their mindset right and doing what they're doing, and so they can come to work and do what they need to do. But this is not my job. This is just who I am and what I like to do.
And of course, obviously you said the same. It's like what you do is build people up. So I know with Exit Your Way, so we'll connect into your business. It kind of goes really well. But in the Exit Your Way, you run and host these networking events, seminars, talks, workshops, all these different things. You bring great people who are specialists in the field of whatever they do, like social media marketing. Because I've seen some of these. I've obviously been on e-com. So all these great people who help with the other elements. And because you have this, actually, I put myself first, you see this as actually, here's the opportunity to help others to put what they need first, and see actually putting yourself first is essential to your business.
Yeah, it does. It does, because it gives me that full cup, so I can start the day by getting people the resources they need and doing the things they do. And as you said, in our business, I'm really just a guide. I'm a guide. It's like, you want your business to be like this, and we're someplace else today. Mm-hmm. Let's get it there. It's going to take them, the people in the business, with the right mindset and working together the right ways. And it's going to take some outside resources probably, because they're going to need help. And as you know, being a coach and a trainer the way that you are, mm-hmm. people need help. And this is something that, man, I just can't, why we didn't know this 50 years ago or 30 years ago. It's just crazy, because we would be so much farther along, I think, in a lot of regards. If I was very lucky, I thought it was stupid at the time, honestly, but one of my early bosses, they hired a coach that was an experienced person that worked with me for a year. Just coaching me in business, coaching me in how to do it. And we were able to, we did really good things with that company, and we were able to sell it after we were done with it, and for a lot of money, and it was awesome. But I didn't realize how that really would affect me, and how much everyone should be looking at a coach if they're stalled. If you're not stalled and everything's going 100%, hey, just keep going. But sometimes you just stall out. You go, I don't know what to do, or I can't get myself to do it. Right. Like you in fitness, or even mindset with people around fitness. Some people just can't get themselves to take the first step. But if you're standing there with them and say, hey, come on, let's do this, let's do it. Let's see what it feels like. Well, then they'll go. And that's what coaches help people for. And even, confidence. And then when you look at it and you go, okay, the best soccer players in the world, the best athletes in the world have coaches, because then we're talking about the refinements. I was fortunate enough that when my son played baseball in the US, he played in a club that had, his team actually has 2 people that have been drafted into the major leagues in it. And there's probably going to be 2 more. So out of 18 people, there was 4 kids that are probably going to the major league in there. So when you watch these people train, and this from your level of training you did, coaches are just trying to get you to move your body just a little teeny bit differently, and then practice that way long enough so it becomes just like natural for you. And so my point is, coaching is relevant to the beginner and the expert.
Yeah. It's that fine tuning, and it's the external eye, because you can't see everything yourself.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Even, like say a well-oiled machine that's working really well, making good profit, there might be that little trick that you're missing, which is costing your bottom line more. Whether you've got a higher expense on something which you didn't need to have because you're duplicating yourself, or, something. And the thing is, especially like me, it's my baby, you get very precious, and you do things a certain way which work really well for you, but it doesn't mean it's the best way for the business. Hence, having a coach who's got obviously business experience, different ways, or like you guys at Extra Your Way, you bring different people in and go, actually, here you go, here's the tools that can help your business be the healthiest it can be.
Yeah. And the one thing that 2 things I'll say. One thing that the main struggle that business owners have is their business just simply sucks the life out of them, right? Sucks the life out of them. Makes their home life horrible, makes their professional life horrible, because they are doing absolutely everything they can, and it still is demanding more and still not giving them what they need. And that comes back to the point that businesses are like, I don't know, it's like a human body almost. If you don't have them set up right so the processes are working, you're always going to have problems. And we come back, and a lot of our work is, hey, let's get the processes set up right. You went to be a plumber because you're really good at plumbing, not because you know how to set up a business that has the systems behind it so it makes it run better, and it allows you to oversee it and really make sure that we're moving in the right direction and making more money. You got into business because you were good at plumbing, and you wanted 2 things. You wanted to make more money, and you wanted to have a better life for you and your family. That's the things that we do, that we focus on those 2 things. And we do that by getting the business running smoother for them, and making more money by increasing the sales, because they're usually, like I said, they're technical people like myself when I was in engineering, and we don't know how to sell that well. And then we turn around and we help them with the work on that.
And this is where as well people they talk about work-life balance, but it's not a balance. It's making sure one element of your life doesn't drain from the other.
Yeah.
So that, monopolize it. Like you were saying, CEOs just working, sacrificing, expecting a divorce, or, a poor life. Really, you shouldn't expect something that's not written, No,
no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. And you shouldn't. The other thing is, you should not satisfy or become, you should not accept that kind of life, right? You should recognize that I'm in a bad place and take the first step to change that. And whatever it is, I'm not saying hire a coach. I'm saying just take the first step, start reading a book, do something else to change the way you're going, because what you did yesterday got you here. And if you want to go to a different place, you got to change the direction. You got to change what's happening today. So just start doing that. And if nothing else, that will change the outcome.
I mean, Lizanne even says we're filling her cup up with this wisdom. So
all right, good.
Well, yeah, it makes everyone.
That's awesome.
But of course, there's no better, I say, explanation than a personal experience. I've gone from this, and this is what I prioritize, and I put this first. Yesterday I read something about, we prioritize like things with our time. Like, for example, you go, this work needs this time. But when you talk about the priorities you have for your life, generally we don't give the right amount of time to what we prioritize most in our life. So we have this, that's where we have this imbalance and dissatisfied, unhappiness. I can't. Yeah. So because there's that disconnect of what we really value and what we actually put our time into. And, so when all these business owners come to you, how often do you see this sort of thing sort of happening? So, time being prioritized into the wrong elements of their life?
Well, it's all the time. I mean, honestly, every business owner we talk to is probably spending an inordinate amount of time on their business. Their families have gotten used to it, or they have gotten used to it. Some, if they don't have a family, it's still, they have gotten used to that. And over the long term, what that does is that degrades your number one asset, and that's your health. And when your health is getting degraded, we don't see it when we're young. We see it when you get into my age, that all that stuff that you neglected, you got to, so you got to worry about that, because our health is honestly our biggest asset. You look at it throughout your life. It doesn't matter when it is. So it's starting to affect their health, their mental, their physical health, whatever they're talking about. And they're burnt out. They're not really what they know. They're not living the life they could live. And that's really what we see when they're doing it. And there's something not working in their business for them.
And it's great that you can be there for them.
Yeah, it's fun because, we always tell people, it's like, listen, don't come to us. Come to us, you can talk to us. But if you really want to engage us and do something, be prepared to work. Be prepared to change, because we are going to need to change the outcome. And we're really honest with people. It takes a long time for us to be able to get through. I shouldn't say a long time, but it takes a while for us to get through that process, because I don't want to waste my time on somebody that isn't ready to change their mind in the way that they work to better their life and their business. And because it's a waste of both of our time, and so we have to be ready to do that. But when you're ready to do it, man, it's fun. And it is fun working hard, because when you see the progress that you can make, and, an example of a client we got right now. I mean, this year he's going to be close to 4x the revenue that he did when he started with us 2 years ago. And we work our butt off together, and he is, but now you see what we're talking about with him. We're doing the things that now he is able to step back from his business a little bit more. And you see how this change in the business is affecting his life. We're talking about he's got a couple small kids. He can spend more time with them. They're going to buy a second home. They're fixing up their home. He's talking about investing money in his kids' education and a lot of the different things. So for me, there's a lot of satisfaction in being able to allow people to build their legacy for their family by helping them get their business running right. And seeing it change someone's life rather than just putting more money in someone's pocket. And that's why I like what I do now so much compared to when I was working for investment owners or private equity groups, because, investors are investors. They have money, they're making more money. But when I'm changing someone's life like that, that's freaking cool, man. I love it. I love it. It gets me up in the morning, gets me fired up. So
gives you your passion, as it were, for your business side.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good stuff.
So along this journey, who's been the biggest influence or inspiration for you?
Well, there's a one business guy that doesn't even know it. The first one of the first business owners I worked with back in my college years. His name was Don Bender, and he ran the injection. He owned the injection molding company where I started working right out of college. But that guy would sit with me because I was, right out of college, all these brainiac ideas about, oh, we need to buy this big piece of equipment, blah, blah, blah. It's going to, and he would set me down and he would explain the business case for what I was doing. So, I worked at that company for 12 years. I was really fortunate to do it because there's explosive growth and I did a lot of fun things, but he would sit down and explain this stuff to me. And I was like, man, that's really cool. And then there've been a couple others throughout them, but I still remember him fondly. And I was lucky enough. I got to see him a couple years ago in the airport. I was just passing through an airport and I saw him and his wife, and I was so fortunate to get to see him before he passed. And then, and now his son too, I worked with his son. His son owns the business now, and it's big. I mean, it's like, they probably got 500 or 600 employees now. And I started, we had 50, and I think we went up to 300, 200 or 3, something like that when we started. And, but he was really one it was so cool. So cool. And then my father was, he was a rock, just a rock. He had, super inspirational, because my father grew up on a farm in the middle of South Dakota, and he had his left leg amputated when he was 16 years old. He only had about 6 inches of it, but he chose to be a farmer. And it's like, probably not the best choice, but that's what he wanted to do. And, I watched him growing up and throughout his life. He worked on the farm until he was about 60, because my brother took it over. And never complained once about that. I mean, you see him coming home physically, that was tough, moving around and doing the on equipment, off equipment, all that. Never complained about it a bit, just did what he needed to do. My father didn't even have a handicap sticker until he was like 70. It's like, what's that? We never even looked at it as a handicap. It's just dad just had one leg, and that was in, until later, I didn't realize how big of a deal that was, but he just kept powering through all the way until the end. So it's good. Those are two inspirations for me.
They sound like amazing people.
Yeah,
they do. Yeah. So obviously you've shared some amazing value with me and all the guys who have been listening. So is there any one tip, if you say to people, if you're going to do one thing different today, do this one thing, what would that be?
One thing different today. If you're not happy with where you're at, make a change. Try something, some little step to change, and then do it again tomorrow. And maybe do a little more of that, or change it a little bit more. But because if you sit in the same spot, it's going to be the same damn thing. Mm-hmm. If you come home after work and you plop your ass down in front of the TV and watch TV, and you're sad about how you feel and how things are going in your life, don't do it tomorrow. Cut it back a little bit. Maybe go out and walk, maybe read a book, do something else, but don't stay in the same spot if you're not happy. And even if you are, you got to keep moving.
I'm actually going to ask you one other closing question, because you hinted on this. If you need inspiration, find somebody else, whether it's a coach or even a book. What's the one book that has really impacted you, or that springs to mind that you think others would find beneficial?
Well, I think if you want to look and see someone who has kind of simplified like my morning routine, it's based on an author, Hal Elrod. I mean, he wrote The Miracle Morning, and what he did is he just compiled a bunch of other stuff that people have done. But when you want to look at inspirational people, I mean, and this is old school, Jim Rohn, Rohn. I mean, he's old school, and just so. But once you start, the thing that happened with me is you start with someone like Hal Elrod, and it'll lead you to Jim Rohn, which will lead you to Napoleon Hill, which will lead you to somebody else, which will lead you to somebody else. Mm-hmm. In that journey, your mind will just start opening it up, and you go, oh, that author or that thing. And you'll be write this stuff down and do that. But yeah, that's where I would start. Something like that. Hal Elrod, Jim Rohn, Napoleon Hill, any of those will get you going.
Great way to start the morning. So I'm not going to hold up any of your amazing time, and you've shared such value. Is the best way contact you on LinkedIn and through your website? Or
LinkedIn's the best. I mean, I honestly, and to all my any friends or people that contact me on LinkedIn, I have turned all my notifications off on my phone. So I do check LinkedIn several times a day. And I check Instagram, and I check Twitter, and I check Facebook. I check them all, right? But I've turned off notifications, because if there's one thing that I can tell you too about your day, turn the notifications off on your phone, and you can get a lot more done.
That's why my phone's on silent.
There you go. Mine's on silent too. And I get in trouble because my wife goes, your phone's on silent. I said, yeah, because I'm focusing on what I'm focusing on right now.
Yeah, unless I know specifically it's called, I might put sound on. It'd be sat on silent.
Yep, but no, cool. LinkedIn, get a hold of me, reach out, connect if you want to talk about something, and we certainly can.
Amazing. Well, the links are actually in the comments in the post, and just say massive thank you to everyone who listened. And Damon, thank you so much for having me as part of your morning, and for sharing such inspiration and words and support and everything. Thank you.
Well, thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Have a good rest of your day.
Yep, you too.